Welcome everybody to our live stream here on lichess and Twitch. I'm International Master William Paschall, otherwise known as Sledgy. Everybody calls me Sledgy. Poker and chess nickname. So what's up? We're streaming Spooky Week here. It's Halloween week. With the culmination of Halloween on Sunday and my trip to Debrecen and back, we'll be trying to get in the Sunday simul before I turn into a pumpkin, which should be possible. We've got yesterday's arena, or rather Swiss, which was successful. I successfully defended the honor of the Halloween Gambit for Asterbait. Great suggestion, Asterbait. That was unsound but fun. So today we're taking challenges. We are playing 5+3 Weird Openings Wednesday. Tarantula with us. The artist formerly known as Ponda. He was turned by a witch into a spider for the week. So hopefully he'll be able to turn back into the normal Ponda that we know and love on November 1st. Alright, let's get started. So we need some challenges, 5+3. I've got the challenge here from the infamous GM Tranquil. Ripun. How many accounts does he have? We're not really sure. He's a troublemaker. Ripun has now crossed 2,000 Blitz. You can't see properly the tarantula? What do you mean you can't see it properly? He's right there. Yeah, you can see him. It's just that, I don't know, I'd have to suspend him from a web or something. Gita B. Can't believe you're criticizing the angle of the tarantula. Yeah, he's got his eyes. That's the way he looks. I don't know how else to he's all legs, basically. And a couple of eyes. You can see him. Yeah, you can't see his butt, really, if you're into that kind of thing. Alright, spider butts. But you see his legs and his eyes. And his head. The only thing you're missing is his butt. But thank you for that. The angle doesn't really do justice to tarantula. Thanks for joining us, Gita B. Long time no see. Chess Falcon has been gift subbed, and we lost our challenge from the other guy. Chess Falcon from USA. The Falconer. Alright, I don't know what happened to our other guy. Did I accept his challenge or something? And I'm playing 2 games at once? Did I do that? I didn't do that, did I? I've been known to do that. Like, I'll accept a challenge, then start another game, not realizing I have 2 challenges going. So we've got, Bijak, welcome. We've got weird openings, spooky openings for this week. I play unusual openings on this day. Elefante. I'm alright. Let's try... No, let's see. Get out the tissues. I was ready to accept your challenge, but it disappeared there. Can't control that. Let's play e5. I don't know, man. You're not first. d4. Very little we can do here. Let's play knight c6. It's a form of Nimzovich. I never get to play this line. I can't control if people's challenges, like, disappear, you know. Your internet connection is responsible, not me. So now bishop c4, what the heck is that? This is just like losing a pawn for white. Highly suspicious. Is that spider still there? He's here for the week. Every year, like, Panda turns into a chess spider. Yeah, he's here. He's here until Halloween. This is kind of like that other weird gambit. Well, Gita B said that we can't see him normally. It's like, boy, is he ugly. He has little beady eyes. Yeah, some people are afraid of him. I think he's kind of cute, personally. I was a little bit worried about my internet connection. It looked kind of slow today. He is primarily black and white, which makes it thematic, you know. He has a little bit of orange, sort of orangish red in his upper to mid legs. A little more coloration than Panda. So where am I supposed to put my queen here? Let's try g6. Queen e7. Like a King's Indian attack. I feel like Petrosian. Alright, P-Jock, you sent me a game. Thank you for reminding me. Tomorrow night we have our subscriber stream. Black's facing this thread. Tomorrow night we have a subscriber stream. And anybody who submitted me a game, submitted me. If your name is Sumaher. Doesn't hurt to remind me so I don't forget. Tomorrow night. Oh, it's for next week. Well, whatever. Tomorrow night is our subscriber stream. Players submit games, we go over them, up to 10 games on Thursday nights. We're trying to play unusual openings. Well, I'm not going to help you develop your pieces. I made a very instructive mistake in my Thursday or Sunday simul against Thomas Treinson, where I was such a donkey. I mean, he plays like this kind of knight g5 move in the Smith-Morra. Instead of castling, I like weakened my kingside with h6. It was a really sort of beginner thing to do by me. Like here, h6, what, you know. I guess it would stop bishop g5. It's true. Maybe this is actually a better position than the game with him and the Smith-Morra to play h6. You've actually got something with like queen b5 check. Bishop g7, knight e6, bishop e6, bishop e6. If queen e6, queen b5 check, but I have f e6 and queen b5 check c6. The other option is just simply be like, whatever, dude. Take on g5, bishop g5, h6 there. It looks pretty cold-blooded. I mean, there's nothing he can really do. I have this crap bishop on f8 here. I only played g6 because I had no place to put my queen, honestly. The stream crashed last Thursday, you mean, yeah. Thursday, Tuesday, whatever. It crushed. Crushed. In Eastern Europe we say crushed. Wow. Chess Falcon, you're trying to play that weird gambit, whatever it is. But this is not the right position for that. Right? Gambit head. Chess Falcon is some kind of gambit aficionado, which is cool for today's stream. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, pawn takes pawn. This knight is hanging. There's some queen b5 checks. Fundamentally, the white position looks a little over the top. Talking of computers, not really interested in Andrew Tang. Not a big fan of bullet players. All right. E takes f4. Was this a Philidor? It was no. It was no. It was weird. Bishop c4, knight takes e4. You know, I mean, I know. What's that other position? Oh yeah, like with knight f3. You know how this is a line. If the bishop, let's see, knight is on f3, bishop c5. They do it in the. They do it in the, what is it? Scotch Gambit. It's like the I don't know what it's called. The Jude Acers attack. Bishop e5 check. Okay. That's not a move I expected. So bishop d7. Yeah, I'm just not really a fan of Andrew Tang. There's lots of strong players in the world to follow. He's not one of them. Bishop e5 check. I guess just bishop d7 developing. I'm not trying to diss anybody, I'm just being honest. I have very little time, and if I was gonna like check out some of these games, it definitely wouldn't be his. Alright. Queen takes e6. Like seriously, I have like what, another 20 plus years to live? I don't have time to, I mean, I'm gonna like, maybe I'll see what's happening in the World Championship or something. Bishop takes f4. World Champion's coming up in a month. That's going to be interesting, although I'm not, also not to bash everybody, but I'm not a fan of Nepomniachtchi or Magnus Carlsen. I'm quite disappointed that Nepomniachtchi qualified, but we've got to live with it. Caruana, Ding Liren, I mean, the favorites all got eliminated, and now we have kind of a random challenger for Magnus, though he has played really well in the last year. To be fair to Nepomniachtchi, it always seems to go in cycles. You know, there's somebody who's hot and other players who are not. But that whole Kenneth term was messed up by COVID. I mean, it was really, Rajabov should have been playing. That was totally unfair for him. What else? You got like Ding Liren has a terrible tournament, but the conditions were bad for the players coming there. I mean, whatever. It just wasn't ideal. But whatever. It is what it is. I would have preferred to see Ding Liren or again Caruana, honestly. So White is really really making my life a little tough. He did this yesterday as well. Just Falcon's 1895, but he's like 10 times faster than me. What's up with that? It's a good price. It's hard to stream and talk and play at the same time, so I'm at a huge time disadvantage here. I wish it had been Ding Liren. But at least Nepomniachtchi has a good score against Carlsen, which makes it kind of interesting, as they were sort of like junior rivals. Geary can never be world champion? Huh. It's unlikely. No, I mean in betting sites? Yeah, forget about it. Wow, instant recapture with the G pawn. Not a move I saw. He's capable of finding moves I didn't even think of on the fly. The thing that's really amazing about Chess Falcon is his pace. Like, he never has to spend a long time on a single move. It's sort of amazing. The entire game, you know, medium, bad, good moves, doesn't matter. He plays the moves in the same speed no matter what, you know. Good moves, bad moves, average moves. He manages to make his moves at the same pace, no matter what the situation is, which I can't really do that. Now it's getting mildly random. He's totally lost now. He just sort of like stopped playing chess and played for the clock. Panic. So I put him in the category of players who are afraid to get into time pressure. That's why he plays so fast. It took me a long time to realize this. There are two kinds of players who play fast. Players who are trying to actively flag the other, and then the players who just don't like being in time pressure. So they simply like don't get in time pressure. It's like a defensive quickness. But he totally like freaked out with lots of time, you know, on the board. It was actually pretty competitive. Yeah, I can see playing on here if it's like not increment, but you really need to resign at this point in increment. I'm not going to stalemate you. Famous last words. Dude, come on. It's just not. Let's not... You know, interesting opening. You really made this interesting. Wow. So the computer hates my move knight takes? No, it doesn't. Alright. No, it likes it. Yeah, this is... See, what I'm trying to remember is this, right? Like, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, no, d4. No. Bishop c4, bishop c5, d4. See, that's the thing. Whatever that is, right? Bishop c4 is awful. Right. This is like ridiculous, but played. You know, the Nimzovich is terrible. Okay, thank you, all-knowing person. I don't think it's that bad. Dude, there's, like, yeah, it's terrible if you're playing against Magnus Carlsen, but it's not terrible against weak players. It's actually a very good opening. In fact, if you go to the statistics, let's look at Black's winning percentage, you know, e4. Now, which move has the highest winning percentage for Black here? Well, wait. Knight c6, 28%. We heard from the peanut gallery that the Nimzovich is a terrible opening. Then why is the winning percentage 28%? I mean, that's the second highest on the list. 30% for the modern and 28%. You know, true enough, like, losing is a little higher than average, maybe. But, you know, I disagree. Like, it's actually a very practical opening. Sure. Well, you know far more than obviously statistics based on 5,300 games. It's uncommon if people don't know it. I have a good score with it. The Black players know it better, exactly. It's a good practical opening, but it's dangerous if you play it against good players. But you don't, it's like the Alyekin's defense. You don't play it against good players. You play it against bad players, you know. And you don't play it every game like people know you're going to play it. To play it like you only play it like you're Zvonimir Mestrovich or something, you know. it's good as a surprise weapon against weaker players. There are situations where it's good. I'm not going to sit here and argue that knight c6 is a great move. It's not necessarily. All right, but it's a very practical move. This is Weird Openings Wednesday, Chess Falcon. I play the Nimzovich in tournament games, so I guess you shouldn't be offended. I played it this summer in a tournament game. Ripun. But it's like you can't play it as your main opening. I mean, that's just predictable and not a good idea. But still, there's something to the fact that the move has the second highest winning percentage among all moves against e4 in the Masters database. That means something, There's no question that it has a meaning. The other move that has a good score is this, the Alexander Ivanov school. I grew up in the United States. I went to college in Boston. I became a master in 1991. And in 1991, I think I played Alexander Ivanov for the first time. We ended up playing each other like 15 times. I learned a lot from him. And Ivanov's repertoire is like g6 against weak players. That's the whole idea. He plays g6 against weak players, Sicilian against intermediate, and e4, e5 against good players. The modern defense isn't a great opening either. But if people don't know what they're doing, it's extremely effective. While you play against Ripun, I will end my Twin Peaks episode. You watch Twin Peaks in the morning? That's just not right. Alright. Modern defense gives white a very wide, variety of choices. A lot of rope to hang themselves with, theoretically. That's why it's good. And another opening that I've played for real. I played a game in 2020 against Kozak Adam and managed to draw. So I played the Modern Defense one game in 2020. I played the Nimzovich one game in 2021, and I didn't lose either. 2 draws. Wasn't actually Alexander Ivanov? Are you serious? I mean, I guess theoretically you could be Bulgarian, but, come on. You could be Bulgarian, I guess, right? But it's Russian. I mean, it's 100% Russian. It's like half the people in the Russian telephone book are named Ivanov. I mean, it's like the most Russian sort of name ever. What's weird? The Modern Defense? Do I play the Modern Defense every day? Are you serious? When was the last time I played the Modern Defense against you? It's definitely an offbeat opening. It's not a standard opening for me. Now, I don't know. Am I supposed to play knight takes e2 here? Kind of big question. He's starting knight takes d4, winning material. Or maybe not. I guess it would win material, right? So, at least a pawn. So c5 is theoretically possible. That looks wrong. I have to either play knight takes e2 or bishop takes f3. Knight e2, queen e2. Then like f5. is interesting. This is really crazy. There is this FIDE master in Boston named Chris Chase. He's still around. Solid player. I mean, a decent player. He was always around 2300 FIDE. Tough. And he used to play the modern all the time. Ivanov grew up in Archangels near the Arctic Circle and then immigrated to the United States in 1990 or 1989. I can't remember. But we ended up, like, he's the grandmaster that I've played more tournament games against than anyone else. The close second is your own Zlatko Lichess. So this is pretty amazing play by White, actually. For a guy who's 2000 rated. He finds, like, the most critical possible variation here with G4. Very dangerous. I had trouble getting a handle on Rikpun. How strong is he really? It's very hard to define. I don't know. I mean, 1 minute he seems like he's very weak, and the next minute he seems like a master. It's pretty strange. He vacillates between like 2400 and 1600 strength on a mid-game basis. Let's see, castles, knight takes a7 check, king b8 is interesting. I can just play queen e7, I guess. Just. I don't know, to find g4, I'm curious if that's the engine's #1 move. You love my lectures on chesslecture.com. Well, don't make them sound like they're in the past. We're still doing chesslecture.com. I'm not, like, financially really, like, you know, an owner of that site or anything, but I'm still working for them. So it's definitely very much in the present tense. But that's cool. Thank you, Ascended Solar. In fact, I think I'm making a new video today. Very much still. There was this old thing I used to do called Chess FM videos on the Internet Chess Club. That's defunct since 15 years, but sometimes I still get people that are like, oh man, I love the videos you did for Chess FM or whatever, which is really a long time ago. They're not videos, I mean, like, basically, you know, well, video, yeah, I mean, I analyze with the board and stuff. So let's get out of here. But how? How to get out of here? This guy, amazing player. I mean, he's now over 2000 Blitz with the speed of amazing, just great speed. But too speed oriented. You know, I mean, he has immense talent, but I think Rikpun needs to slow it down a bit. But he never listens to me, you know? Never ever. So we need to open this up somehow. B5. Whoa. Controversial. I mean, his king is over there in the twilight zone. Whoa. Wait, what? Oh, I get it. The time is crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like having a drug addiction. Literally. You need to get treatment. Treatment options are available. His rook's hanging, and I'm just so worried about losing on time that I didn't even notice it. Yeah, thanks, man. What an arrogant thing to do. You missed the rook. Why don't you try to play chess? You have a totally lost position, and you're making fun of the fact that I missed a rook. Like, why don't you, like try to actually play chess instead of typing in that? It's completely arrogant and stupid. You're missing the entire point of the game. It's ridiculous, you know. Grow up and try to really, you know, make something constructive out of this. Doesn't matter if I take a rook. Your position's so lost, it's irrelevant. Why would I even care, you know? I'm just gonna win like one of 700 different ways. It's absurd. He takes the time to type in that I could have taken a rook. Irritating. You don't understand, do you? Alright, let's play something different here. What can we do originally against the Queen's Gambit? F3. Wait, on the next move. No, E4 is strange, but it's totally unsound. But Steinitz actually played this, you know. And one of our regulars, former moderator, world loser. Now, Sumahair's funny. You just turned it into a normal opening by Bishop B4. He literally turns it into the Nimzo, you know, F3 Nimzo by playing Bishop B4. So I guess like critical here for Black must be C5. Now it's a real opening. Yeah, no, I mean you got to try to cut open this diagonal with your pawn with C5. Now you're back into standard position. Problem is I don't play the F3 Nimzo, so it might as well be a new opening for me. I did analyze this with someone. I don't play this line for Black though. I guess I did though at one point. Not for a long time. I don't really like D5. Okay, so now we have like main line, literally main line, mainline f3 Nimzo. I never like the setups with d5. I tried to play something weird with f3, but he's forced it back into standard variation. I'm trying to play spooky weird openings. It's spooky because it's Halloween week, if anybody's wondering. We've got our tarantula instead of panda. Astrobate submitting a game for tomorrow night. Make sure to send me the game. I'm not sure if Yabatis is. Can you explain to the audience what Halloween is? Well, Halloween, otherwise known as All Hallows Eve. It's the last day in October, October 31st. It's a very big holiday. It's a big commercial holiday in the United States now. I guess it originated in the UK. And it's originally dating back to pagan times. Pagan religions and stuff like that. Queen a5, what's up with that? Not really sure. What's going on here? e4, knight c3, queen d2, queen c5, bishop b2. Man, I never play this line. Yeah, Halloween is a modern version of the autumnal equinox pagan holiday. Let's not insult anybody. I don't want to see like insults. I have a relationship with the viewers, you know, so it may sound like, and maybe in a sense I'm insulting them, but it has a basis. I don't want to just you know, see people come on and their first comment is an insult against one of the other viewers, even though if I agree with it on principle, that's not very nice. So let's not do that. I'm gonna time them out. I mean, I agree, you know, this playing for time stuff is nonsense, but let's try to be civil. I'm frustrated with Ripun because he never listens to me. He plays for time every single game. It's everything what I hate, you know, so I'm pretty irritated with him, but I still don't want anybody insulting other players. Especially not new viewers. Their first comment is an insult, so let's... Looks suspicious, actually. Yeah. Where's Mr. Coffee? Queen e5. Interesting. So I have this, dominating the knight. The knight still isn't really under attack. Queen c1 looks wrong somehow. Why do I want to play this move? Alright, I have ideas of this, dark squares in general, possibly protection of that. Still, it feels like a bit of an odd move to play this early on. It's very Winnower French-like. Playing for time in increment games is absurd, first of all. Oh, you think bishop e5 check is better? Well, look, another thing is, in general, I don't want to trade off my bishop pair here. His bishop sucks, you know, so if I play like bishop b5 check and black plays bishop d7, I mean, my bishop sucks too, in a sense, but it's still better than his. You know, I have 3 pawns on white squares in that chain. But when you have the bishop pair, all blacks, you want to keep that bishop pair on the board. in general. I don't really want to trade pieces here as well. Yeah, those guys unfortunately left that site, Wallace and Jesse, and they were people that I recruited for Chess Lecture. Pretty much it's not the same site that I started out with, but it's still good. That queen is virtually trapped. Virtually trapped. Well, I don't know what John Wallace is doing, but Jesse is doing his own stuff, and he sometimes streams. But he's always been a weird cat. Jesse cry. Philosophy. He studied in Germany. I studied psychology. No, he's every parent's nightmare. You pay like lots of money for your kid to go to school and they study philosophy. Psychology is not that bad. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe his parents didn't pay for him to go to school. I really don't know that much about Jesse's background. We're friends, but I don't know him that intimately. All I know is that I snore a lot and he won't be my roommate anymore. But he's certainly not alone in that. He's not alone in that. Conception. No, I'm just kidding. Jesse and I are friends. I haven't seen him in years. Years and years. This is a little risky. Probably a lot risky. I should just play bishop b2 and castle, especially with less time. No, Jesse is smart guy and he's thoughtful. Definitely not a bullet player. But I was really pissed at him once because he bailed on me when we were supposed to be sharing a room because I apparently snored. But I mean, still, I had to eat. I had to eat the expenses for a whole room by myself after he bailed on me. Normally, I don't snore just if I'm drinking or something or I have a cold. There has to be some external reason. Extraneous. Generally, I'm not a snorer. I was either I had a cold or I had been drinking a lot, which was likely at that time. No, hotel air is the worst. I always get sick. From the recirculated air. Casino air. Eventually I'm going to develop some pieces here. This is about time. But it reminds me of the Winnower French. Black is in a lot of trouble here. No? No good can come of this. Free alcohol. Casinos? Man, not in Hungary, that's for sure. Hungary has the worst casinos ever. Maybe in Vegas, they probably still have free drinks. My favorite was always like hanging out with Alexander Wojciech because he would have like free air miles and stuff, and he would get a lot of points. What am I doing here? Oh my god. No! I just hung a piece. I just hung a piece. That's so sick. I think that was a mouse slip. Air miles. Access to unlimited VIP lounges. I never flew that much, so I never had like a VIP lounge membership or anything like that. Airport sort of sucks. Traveling sort of sucks without it, though. Spending hours and hours in the airport. Alright, Hey It's Miro is up next. Very bad meltdown by both of us at the end there. So I'm supposed to be playing unusual openings. Hey, it's Miro with e4, e5, knight f3, I assume. No. Man, last game I played knight c6 against someone. The end. Weird openings here. Let's try it again. Check the inbox on lichess later. I will. Sumer, I guess you're going to be submitting that game for analysis for Thursday, right? You guys, Gita B says we can't see the spider properly. I need like an overhead camera or something. Man, not much we can do to play a weird opening against this. So it's the Scotch Gambit? Wait, Scotch Gambit is bishop c4, so what is this? Is this also a Scotch Gambit, or is it like a Danish Gambit? I'm going to decline it with d5. So it's like a Danish by transposition. It's like a delayed Danish. This is Goring. Okay, this is Goring. Thank you. Okay. This is actually a Goring Gambit. Spooky. Yeah, someone on Sound, one of our VIP followers. Was Denmark mentioned? Danish Gambit. But it's actually not. It's the Goring Gambit. Is the Goring Gambit declined? I think I had a Blitz game with this the other day. I had a correspondence game with someone on Sound. And this is one of his favorite openings. What do you think of the Old Indian defense? It's passive and hard to play. I only know a handful of strong players who play that opening. Never appealed to me. It's like the Philidor. I might like the Philidor better than the Old Indian, though. Nah, it's interesting. I mean, I think the people... I will say this in defense of playing the Old Indian All Blacks. I definitely wouldn't recommend it for anyone like under 1800, first of all. You gotta be at least a fairly competent player to handle something that's so, you know... giving up so much space. Secondly, let's see, I've got bishop g4 here. What's up with that? Bishop g4. Castles, bishop takes c3. B takes c, bishop takes f3. Secondly, I will say that people are notoriously bad. Average players are notoriously bad at like playing with a space advantage. So there's a certain advantage in playing the old Indian type of thing. People don't study it, they don't know how to handle it. I admit that I've struggled against it a little bit. I've only faced the old Indian in maybe less than 5, you know, seriously. I think legitimate old Indian games, I've only had like 5. But Blitz games without Eric LeBron and stuff, I mean, he used to play it against me on Internet Chess Club. The only 2 Grandmasters I played regularly who played that opening were Alonso Zapata and Eric LeBron, both which are and were like strong GMs. Bad players or beginners under 2000. Everyone's a bad player, including me, except for Magnus Carlsen. But so don't take offense to me saying that. But players under 2000 are notoriously bad at playing with space advantage. They overextend themselves. So that's kind of the same reason why I think the Nimzovich is okay. Weaker players tend to be very, very bad at converting space advantage to the point where they actually... Like, let me put it this way. I'd rather play the black side of the hedgehog than the white side of the hedgehog, you know, in general. Because it's easier to play, you know. Benoni's totally different. I think Benoni is easier to play than Old Indian. 2 bishops. White is definitely better with those 2 bishops, but his structure is the issue. So do I castle Kingside or Queenside here? The $1 million question. Both are possible. So my knights are putting a fair amount of pressure on the center. A4. A4, B6, or not. Do you want to allow A5? He's threatening bishop E4. I could play knight A5, Blokadovich. Yeah, white is definitely better here. How about knight D5? Solar. You see, I live in Europe, so it would be solar. But in America, it's solar. So hard, this dealing with 2 languages. Alright, rook e8. Speaking of Halloween, do you guys believe in ghosts? No, for me it's just like getting used to the European, you know, pronunciations of things like J, for example. John, Jan. Hungarian's tough. But there's also like the general stuff like that. Do you believe in ghosts? What bishop? I don't see any bishop. Do you see a bishop on A3? That's a figment of your imagination. There is no bishop on a3. There's simply nothing on that diagonal, you know. Therefore, it doesn't exist. His bishop used to control the f4 square. There was a bishop on c1. I mean, I think it's like, on d2 it looks both ways, right? It's one thing if you're like cutting me off from castling. But here I think this actually is really bad for white. He's got nothing with that bishop. And he's got this invitation to come in here. This is hanging. He does have the monster bishop e4 though. The other thing is, that is a bishop. If I've ever seen a bishop, that's a bishop. But he's got problems with that other one. Ghost bishop. Alright, so bishop e4, I assume, is the idea. I have knight e2 check and takes on d4. Pawn up. Or we can try the other way. I have knight d4, bishop b7, rook b8, something like that. Now the ghost bishop could come to life via c5, for example. It's early in the morning in Alaska. These knights are really not very friendly. F5. See, now that's a bishop. Yeah, blockade. Blockadeovich. Ooh, I have knight here. How good is this, though? Not that clear. He had bishop, he missed. Strong move there. Your other brother. Still hanging on. He's only down one pawn. Bishops are very good at saving. I will say bishops are very good at saving pawn down endings. It's kind of awkward. Oh, scared me. He scared me with that. Now I'm like on the verge of lost. Holy crap. I didn't see he had that move. Oh my god. Can't believe it. I made fun of his bishop, now I'm gonna lose. Or worse. The outside pawn is quite dangerous here. I'm seriously worse. Worstest. Liver worst. Not anymore though. Phew, that was close. I was a little nervous. Whoa. Oh. All right, we got the last laugh on the the last laugh on the bad bishop. That bishop sort of morphed. That was a funny game. From lost to winning to drawn to lost. That was the transition of that game. Oh no. Oh no, not Casabianca. Whoa, Dabo 5000 is 2400? Wow, you've got 29,000 games. Holy shit. That's a lot of games, dude. Tezik. Pardon my French. We're going to be streaming for a little over an hour, so we've got plenty of time for more weird openings here. That was a Goring Gambit declined. Oh, the 3 AM defense. My own invention. Well, this move isn't my invention, right? But the concept of continuing with D5 is my invention. It's like this is Tezek's favorite. Mira's been waiting for a month to play the Goring Gambit. That's insane, dude. I tried playing it with white the other day, too. I've been experimenting with the white pieces. In offhand games. E4 refuted. Yeah, I mean, so now if I play queen takes d5, that's black's, like, mathematically best move. But objectively, I'm really just like playing a bad Scandinavian here. Normally, I don't do this. It's a freaky Scandinavian. I guess I could transpose to some kind of like weird modern. But I know objectively this is my best move. Do you mean the time? Uh-oh. That's the name of this variation that I invented, Trip Chance. Can't believe you never heard this before. I invented this opening like 10 years ago or more. E4, knight h6, d4, d5. Pawn takes d5, knight f5. This is the 3 AM defense. The idea is the knight has an eternal outpost on f5. It's not really sound, but it's fun. And I have an overwhelming score with it in Blitz. The first thing is that people get like insulted if you play it against them, and they don't take it seriously. Secondly, I don't know what is secondly. Well, secondly, they just never thought about it, so they're kind of on their own from the beginning. Even if they don't get insulted. A tasty player. I don't know what that means. But I agree. Such as your good self, play the Van Geet. Knight c3 and pre-move e4. Dude, I mean, the biggest fan of Knight c3... No. Casabianca plays Knight c3 d4. See, already, like, my knight is sort of justified now. If I'm guaranteed to get that, speaking of tasty bishop. Important to note here that if white plays g4, we have the the classic knight g7 retreat. If you don't knight g7, you're losing a piece. Well, you can play knight h6, okay, but that's horrible. Knight g7 idea g4 h5 to break up his structure on the Kingside is very important. But bishop e3 is a really bad move. Really bad move. People are noobs. You missed a queen sack, mate, but I planned a different mate and got my mate. Aster, what are you talking about? Knight g7 is a theme in... This is a horrible structure for white. Look at this structure. Bishop takes c3 is possible too. My bishop's worth too much to give up to triple those pawns. That bishop's just too valuable. I won't do that. Not here. It's just too much. This is worth like 4 pawns. The g7 bishop is worth 4 pawns here. Not a good choice to give it up. This is a bad move by me. Nah, maybe not. Maybe he just doesn't have a good way of protecting this. Maybe it's not bad. Porcupine. I like that. Porcupine. Halloween openings for Halloween week. We really ought to play the Frankenstein Dracula and the Halloween Gambit. But it's hard to force those variations. The opponent needs to cooperate to play those lines. The black's bishop is tremendous. This gives black a massive advantage. You can't give up your dark square bishop. I mean, bishop e3 is a serious error here. Black already has a good game after knight to c3. Speaking of porcupines, I referenced the hedgehog earlier, which is basically like a micro porcupine. Is there a story behind Sparkle Horse? Sparkle Horse is a band. He was a tremendous artist. He opened for Radiohead. He made really beautiful music, but he was like chronically depressed and killed himself. No particular story. I mean, I just was listening to a lot of Sparkle Horse at the time when I made this account. No, he shot himself in the heart and died. Yeah, pretty sad story, but I just chose the handle randomly. I like music. I listen to different bands at different times. And at the time when I created this account, like 5 years ago, it just so happened that I was listening to a lot of Sparkle Horse, so I thought I'd make that my handle. Yeah. Anyway, very sad story. Mark Linkus. But it's not my favorite artist. I liked him a lot, but I like a lot of things. I hate it when people ask me, what's your favorite? You know, so no deep story behind Sparkle Horse as my account for... Yeah, that was morbid. But he did leave a lot of beautiful music behind. You know, and you would never... You know, haunting... sort of... But obviously, like, killing yourself cuts your career short. He probably had a lot more to contribute. All right. So I guess this bishop is a bit of a problem. We talked about Ghost Bishop earlier, and I think we're seeing that effect here as well. It's not really Ghost Bishop in the same way, but it's hard to use this bishop. I could have played Bishop takes f3. It's hard to use this bishop really constructively because all of his pawns are on white squares and they're killing my bishop. Essentially. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows stories like that. Bishop h6. Well, nice game here by Tezik. He's playing good. And by the way, like, two knights tend to battle better against the bishop pair than bishop and knight. I'm always saying the same stuff over and over to like reinforce these concepts, but a lot of people don't realize this. They think bishops are better than knights. Not necessarily. You know, it's actually better to have two knights against two bishops than bishop and knight against two bishops. The knights coordinate better. White is playing against this white square bishop with all of his pawns on light squares. I still think that black is better here, but it's not so simple. And it's, again, it's very hard to make this bishop really work. I don't know if Dorfman talks about that. He has a good book, The Method in Chess, where he talks about tandems like queen and knight and bishop and rook versus bishop and rook versus bishop and knight, queen and knight versus queen and bishop. Certain combinations of pieces that work better together. I'm not sure if he touches on two knights versus two bishops. It's not that two knights are better than two bishops, but they do better than bishop and knight does. I need to open this up for my white square bishop somehow. Yeah, a5, a4 is a good break. You can get it. If you can get it. So I'm trying to do something here. Desperately. A little too desperately, it looks like. Interesting quote. Well, Feingold has a lot of experience. But White is blocking this up. You know, he's got very good control of d4. You could do worse than... No, this just drops a piece. You could do worse than listening to Ben. I always make fun of his... I make fun of his theory about playing f6 is always bad, though. I think that that's good for absolute beginners as a piece of advice, but not to take it too seriously. Well, I mean, I'm kind of like coming from the perspective of someone who did fetishize bishops a little bit. Like, I think I overvalued bishops for the first half of my chess career. And I reached the point where I'm kind of like reevaluating it. So Casabianca, at least I don't have to play black against them. They drive me crazy. Karo Khan. There was Alyakin's defense recently, but I'm supposed to play unusual stuff. Let's do the in honor of someone on sound. We're gonna play the hillbilly attack in honor of my West Virginia relatives, wherever they may be, which I probably have. I don't know. More like Tennessee and stuff like that, but it's close enough. My mother hails from Pennsylvania, from Pittsburgh, so I probably have some. I probably have some hillbilly relatives somewhere. It's in my nature. Not too many, though. They just kind of like got away from the family or something. Some counties in Maryland we always try to touch on the news here and daily topics. Some counties of Maryland well, not the entire counties, but the Republicans want to migrate to West Virginia. I don't think this has ever happened in the history of the United States, right? No parts of a state have seceded to another state, right? Like, that's probably not going to happen. I don't know what to do here. I never played this, so I'm completely baffled. It has happened. I did not know that. Maybe it happened in the very early stages of the country. I live in Budapest, so who cares, but 150 years ago, parts of, what was it? Maybe Montana and Idaho, or Idaho and Oregon, I don't remember. There's another state out west where they talked about the same thing. Anyway, I'm on a weird subject with the West Virginia hillbilly attack and all that. So black has pushed this pawn up pretty far now. Changed pawn structure completely here. The bishop is kind of compressed on b3, but I mean, we have a completely different structure. This started out as a Caro-Kann, and now it's basically, speaking of earlier you were talking about the whatchamacallit. It's a Yabatis attack. Yeah, the dunst. Basically a dunst. Are you a dunst? Oregon. Dude, my mom said in Pittsburgh, like, the windowsills were covered in coal dust when she was a kid. Covered. That's how bad it was. And that was only like 75 years ago. Coal gas. Dude, even like general people in the city of Pittsburgh 75 years ago probably had a reduced life expectancy due to coal dust in the air. The amount of coal in the air. The Joe Biden attack? Pieces are staying at home? Not really. I mean, both sides, I don't think that either side is really staying at home here. It's just a closed position. No, I think it's pretty normal. I mean, you can't do that much in a closed structure, honestly. It's painful to play Blitz in this type of closed position, honestly, I find. There's one thing that bothers me in this position. Maybe we should play for f5, but how to manage that? I mean, do I go and play g4 now? It's certainly possible. We should mitigate it with maybe a4 slowing down b5. I want to mitigate his counterplay. No, I think his setup is okay. I mean, Ron Paul is one thing, but his son is like an idiot. I mean, it's unbelievable. I totally understand people that are independent and whatever, but getting wiser. Well, anyway. I mean, I have no problem. I have no problem with libertarian by definition, you know. But that guy is not a libertarian. I mean, whatever. Bishop d7. I have friends who are libertarians. It's okay. You know, I respect that. That's fine. I hate it when people, like, get involved in politics automatically because their parents did, you know? I mean, you're, like, immediately just doing it because it's the thing to do. Not because you're, like, genuinely interested in helping society or something. I didn't mean to bring us into conspiracy land. Let's just go back to chess. Knight a6. This all started with a discussion of the hillbilly attack. Speaking of hillbillies, Casablanca is faster than most. You know, this f5 is a problem positionally. If he were able to play f5, that would be a good blockade setup, but it's too touchy with that king on g8 here. Like, I don't care about this whole Fauci thing, and it's all become this talking point. I mean, whatever. I just believe in common sense, you know. I mean, I'm not going, like, here in Hungary, we were pretending there's no COVID anymore. That's not common sense, you know. It's not common sense to just, like, bury your head in the sand and pretend there's no COVID anymore. But this is basically what's happening right now, where I am. I understand there's personal liberty and stuff like that, but it's also, you know, like, I don't want my 11-year-old kid to get COVID because people can't wear masks or something, and he's not allowed to get a vaccine. I mean, there's got to be a way to respect people's liberties, but at the same time protect the vulnerable. There's got to be some way to do that. At least, like, legalize vaccines for people who are under 11 or under 12. Give them the option for that. I got vaccinated, but I can't protect my 11-year-old son from getting it. I could give it to him, you know. I'm not afraid about it for myself. Right, the vaccines don't stop people from spreading it, and that's why I'm saying, like, according to you, Solar, nothing helps. We can all pray to God or something. That's ridiculous. Of course masks help. But again, I didn't intend my chess stream to get into a political discussion about vaccines and masks. Right now, like, if everyone got vaccinated, COVID could be controlled, but it would be inhibiting people's personal liberty. So we have to live with COVID forever now. Great. We have another round of COVID here. So I'll probably have to like suffer through another lockdown. Bishop takes e6. Yeah, man, but I mean, like, this is much worse than the flu. It's not the flu. It's much more transmittable, and it's much more deadly. Just 1 or 2% makes a big difference. It's not a plague, but I mean, I don't want to die. You know, I don't want my family to die unnecessarily, to protect somebody's personal liberties of not having to wear a mask or take a vaccine. Hungary did a pretty good job of mitigating the problems early on, but I think now we've entered the conservative denialist period. They're sort of copying here the Western conservatives in pretending that COVID doesn't exist or it's not a big deal. It wasn't a political issue here before, but it's part of the playbook now. There's a big election coming up in Hungary next year, so they tend to grab onto Western issues a little bit. What am I doing here? I don't think that this should be a political issue, you know. I got a problem with that pawn. Man, this is a serious deal. We're falling apart. He's so strong tactically. Damn. Of course. It's ridiculous. I'm just lost now. He never makes a mistake tactically. Not never, but almost never. Extremely strong. Now how do I win? I can't win. It's a perp. It was a mate? No, I'm getting mated myself. There's no time for G6. Did I have G6? I have G6? It's a mate? Are you serious? G6, King H6, Queen H6, King G8, King G6. There's a mate here? Where? I wouldn't be surprised if I missed the win, but I looked at G6. Wow, it is a mate. Holy shit. But it's not G6. No, G6 wins. Wow. Oh, so there's no check here. There's no check here. He had no check. With my knight still on the board, he has no check, so I am totally winning. This is just a stupid idea. Okay, I'm just totally winning. He's so fast. Always I'm like in time pressure. I just saw this queen down in my face and I thought there was something there, but there's nothing there. Yeah, I'm totally winning. But it's not G6 though. There's no mate. You just take this. But I am winning with E7. He has no threats. I'm tired too. Alright, Dhruv goal. Yeah, I was winning. I just played knight f6 because I thought I wasn't winning. I just thought it was a draw and I was being funny by playing knight f6, but simply winning. I mean, the knight controls all the squares. It's really stupid. Alright. Let's play something fun. French defense. Nimzovich. The Nimzovich Gambit. What is this called? This is in his early games. Queen g4. It's not a Caro-Kann, it's French. Black plays knight c6. That's so annoying. Pawn takes pawn is much more fun. I mean, I should probably just play like knight f3 instead. Then they'll still play knight c6. Not cooperating. So now we have a little problem. The idea is not to play c3. I either have to take on c5 or play knight f3. I guess we play knight f3. Yeah. From my system. I own my system because somebody like left the book once. Somebody like gave me a few of their books once. They just left them at my house. I never bought my system, interestingly. Even though I really have a lot of knowledge about Nimzovich's ideas, I accumulated all of it from other sources. I read Hypermodern Chess, which is a great collection of Nimzovich's games by, don't remember, Horowitz or someone. So this is interesting. He won't release the tension. But I wonder at this point if c3 becomes a legitimate option. Like c3, CD, knight b4, knight a3. I mean, that's not a problem. I can defend against knight b4. What about other options here? Just develop with like bishop d3 probably. If bishop d3, c4, bishop e2. I guess this makes the most sense. We're continuing this gambit. He has knight b4. But it's time consuming. Actually, knight b4. I'm going to have to make a decision there. Knight b4 is probably a good move for black. Although he is losing a lot of time. I probably take on c5 there and castle. Yeah, it's not that clear. You've never played this before? See ya, Chespia. Chespia student. Dabo's challenging me. Yeah, well, your challenge keeps disappearing. I can't make people's challenges not disappear. I know you were challenging me earlier, but it's got to be something to do with the Wi-Fi or whatever connection you have or mobile keeps knocking it off. I would accept you, but you're just not there. It's not that I'm trying to avoid your challenge. So now I've got to watch. Knight takes b3, knight takes c2. He was threatening c4. But your challenge just keeps disappearing. You gotta go. I gotta go in like 45, 50 minutes. 45 minutes myself. So I have time for like 3 more games. Chespia student, you've never played this before. Oh, you never played against a hillbilly attack? What, are you serious? You never faced a hillbilly attack? Man, I had to face it like 10 times already. It's not that bad. I mean, Magnus even played it. I make fun of it when someone on sound plays it. It's not good, but it's not that bad either. Alright, so black's way behind in development. The c file is open, but he's gotten my good bishop. My bad bishop's pretty kick-ass, though. Like, as far as bad bishops go, this thing is this thing is looking pretty powerful for a bad bishop. But we've got to act quickly. Act quickly, or this offer will expire. Mm-hmm. 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 I mean, man, black is way behind in development here. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Spooky Tuesday. Please support the stream, support your local chess streamer, whoever he or she may be. I'm sacrificing a Piechka, the Hillbilly Attack Prize, a pickup truck. Wow, I didn't even see that was hanging. I mean, black's development is fatal here, isn't it? It's just to be like fatal. Fatal lag of development. Acerbe would love this position. Acerbe found his new system versus the French. Damn, dude, you should play this. Seriously, you would love it. You would just kill people. Get a lead in development and finish them off. This can't be okay for black. I mean, looks extremely dangerous. He does have a6 stopping knight b5, which is one of my main weapons in a lot of lines. And I can't play knight b5 right away. I don't want to trade queens, so this is a funny move. Because the rook doesn't do anything on this file. But I want to get him off of b5, first of all. I want to allow for myself to be able to play knight b5, which is a devastating, you know, double threat. If I drive him off the diagonal, he's going to have problems. So I expected him to play queen a6 here. You know, even that isn't that clear, though. I can play a4, threatening knight b5, or even knight d4. But here I figured we just don't trade queens. But I might have figured wrongly. I didn't want to trade queens. I underestimated bishop d7. So it's complicated. Queen a4, bishop b7, knight b5. Whoa. What about other options? I really don't want to trade queens. Queen f4 is an option. Then he has time for, like... Well, he could play queen f5, queen h6, a6. Now my time is gone. Astrobate, you donated gifts up to Dabo. Astrobate Halloween week donor. Man, I just realized this is stronger than I thought. I mean, I have double threats. I said that before. Black doesn't have any threats, and, you know, obviously, like, bishop h3. Yeah, that's an idea. Bishop takes check looks bad, because I'm crashing in on b7. I have this. Knight c7 check. What's he gonna do here? It's just... I thought it was a Caro-Kann. It looks like a Caro-Kann. It's a French. Astrobate, have you ever thought about playing this type of line? Lasker. Where is everybody today? They're not attracted to spooky, weird openings. We had a good turnout yesterday for our stream. Monday and Tuesday were good. It's already Wednesday. I can't believe it. Tomorrow night is our subscriber stream. So please submit your games if you're a subscriber to the stream. Up to 10 games tomorrow night. We're going to analyze together. Thanks for following. Kushare. Okay, Bob. Nice to see you, Bob. Knight b5. Black's just gonna like lose on time. He can't find a move. Doesn't look good. It's all over. It's over. An Astrobate-like attack. This was not a good scene for my opponent. Wait, what? What? How do I do this? You want to just like Oh, you're not attacking anything. I thought he was attacking something. That's funny. Bishop b4. Yeah, this wasn't good. Let's see where that went down. Queen g4 question mark. Yeah. So knight c6, knight f3. Wow, white actually has a good score with this line. Queen b6 question mark. Looks like a good move. You know, as I said, c3 is actually playable. D takes c5 is the best move, apparently. Now that's counterintuitive. Wow, so the point is you can allow bishop takes f2 check. This is no deal. No big deal. Oh, man. So that's really bad for black. Yeah. Bandmaster? Bandmaster I had to play like when he was younger. The first time I beat him, and then there was like 2 or 3 draws, although they were all fighting games. No, he'll never beat me. Hopefully I'll retire with a lifetime plus score. He's really strange. Alright. Lasker. Not a bad player, but a very strange person. He pissed me off, you know, like he was supposed to play in a tournament and he totally screwed the tournament like 3 years ago here because he was doing badly in the first Saturday. You know, he may have been sick or something, but really, like, you know, I understand, like, you get a stomach virus or something, and I mean, I've played through food poisoning, you know. I mean, you don't agree to play in a closed tournament and then bail out like 2 days before the tournament starts. That's what he did. He destroyed the tournament. We ended up having to get a replacement player who was like 150 points lower rated than him, and it just destroyed the category of the tournament. I was extremely angry. You know, basically he quit because he was having a bad result in this first tournament, and so he just bailed, withdrew, and then canceled the other tournament. We had no time to find another player. It was horrible. It's just really it's something you just never do unless you're literally like, you know, there's no way you can play. And I'm sure that wasn't the case. He was just upset because he had a bad result. And then, there was no reason for him to cancel the second tournament. It was really bad for him. I already didn't really like him that much, but honestly, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me with him. You don't do that. I have never dropped out of a closed tournament like 2 days before the event takes place. It's a non-starter, Responsible people don't do that. Is Lasker my friend? Why? Why do you ask such strange questions? Alright. Lasker is, like you, a random person on the internet. But we've played like 8 times. Saji withdrew and re-entered. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Astrobate? We putting... Whatever, man. Just be a student asked me a question, and you just like don't know what we're talking about. Alright, knight a3. This is standard. Yeah, we've played this before with this guy. No, he dropped out of the first tournament with a couple rounds to go, screwing over some people in that tournament, making it impossible for them to maybe earn a GM norm, and then he also canceled the other tournament like the day before it started. So we ended up with like a 2100 player instead of a 2460 player in my other GM tournament. The tournament almost had to be canceled, but we managed to find someone who was 2100 at the last second. So basically, what would have been a good tournament became like almost impossible to make a GM norm. But other things the guy does, like, I find very irritating too, so I just don't really like him. But whatever, You can't like everybody. Panda is no longer Panda. He had a transformation. He's been transmutated into a tarantula. But seriously, that's like one of the worst things a professional chess player can do. You don't drop out of round robin tournaments in the middle of the tournament or the day before the thing starts, I literally have played through food poisoning, stomach viruses, you name it, You name it. So what about this? Bishop f4. I guess we'll have to play a6 and b5. I don't want to see knight b5 and knight c7, obviously. Halloween is on Sunday, so Panda was transmutated into a... I guess transmutation is for, like, not people, but things like elements. But anyway, he was transformed... That's the word I'm looking for. Transformed into a spider for the week of Halloween. Yeah, I tried to tolerate the guy for a long time, but finally it was just too much. I was really like I tried to be understanding in the beginning, but he's too difficult and weird. Anyway, it's been a touchy stream. Weird subjects and whatnot. Weird Wednesday. I mean, to be honest, I didn't like him from the first moment I met him, which was a very long time ago. It was like Harvard University. The guy came there. He came there to study undergrad when he was like 18. And I was just like minding my own business, hanging out at this like chess cafe. I actually noticed him when he like, the first time he came with his parents to like check out. He was like extremely obnoxious. It was very, very notable. Like, I'm talking when the guy was like 2,100. He was extremely obnoxious, and I was like, oh, who is this guy? Then you add like a title to him, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Now he actually has some reason to be sort of arrogant and obnoxious. Yeah. I mean, he was always respectful to me because I was a strong player in his eyes. But I can imagine if you're not. You know, I know some people that like him or liked him. I guess he has some redeeming qualities, let's say. But definitely definitely not a friend of mine. All right. But moving on. I mean, there are definitely worse people in the world. So this knight on a3 is... We got the Acer mate, though. Watch out. But I mean, you know when someone's egotistical when they're 2100 that they're going to be trouble when they're like a titled player, you know? That's a bad sign. You're not even a good player yet and you're egotistical. Yeah. Well, it's about your upbringing. You know, somebody has told you you're great, you're great, you're great. Probably your parents or relatives or something. You're the greatest. And you believe it, you know? But I was like sort of detested overly egotistical people. Right, man, but I'm saying when he was 2100 he was egotistical. When he was like a relatively weak player, he was already like arrogant, and it's disgusting. Whatever. Imagine if he was like a grandmaster, it would get even worse. I never thought he was particularly talented, to be honest. But he tries really hard. But I guess I'm not really particularly talented either, so I don't have much room to talk. But just, I make, you know, observations. You know, I didn't think Caruana was world championship material either, but he did make it to second in the world. It's hard to tell, you know. I played Magnus, and I didn't, you know, oh, he's going to be the world champion. I mean, it's hard to tell. All right, this is not so easy. He's getting his knight back in the game, the diagonal here. But my basic point was I just, you know, I think it's a bad sign when you're an amateur and you're already arrogant. You're not even a master yet. It was notable as a complete observer. You know, the first time I saw him walk into the room, like I was like, oh, this guy is not for real. But he was always like really overly respectful toward me, you know, not necessarily to other people. So I never really like thought about it too much until he started streaming and stuff. But I know a lot of people who don't like him. It's not just me. I'm sure a lot of people don't like me too, so. I'm close to banning you too, Ripun. So I wouldn't really go by that. You're pretty difficult to deal with. On a scale of 1 to 10 and dealing with people, I would say you're on the difficulty scale like a 7. I'm definitely banning like 9s and 10s, and 7 8s are like in the borderline. You're kind of like you're always on the 7 range. Troublesome but tolerable. But he probably has a lot less tolerance than me. Yeah, this rook on e8. What am I doing? Vasquez's a good player. I don't know who they are. Very solid. But you're kind of a troublemaker, so you can't really criticize streamers for banning you. You're a provocative troublemaker. Not really mean-spirited though, you know. Um, not that bad. Light troublemaker. Well, arrogant people are often very popular. Like my old friend Emery Tate, for example. He was extremely arrogant, but he was also, you know, a lot more brilliant than the person we're talking about. Tate was very, very arrogant, but some people they like that, you know. They're attracted to arrogant people. They want to be like that. They want to be like them. I'm turned off by arrogant people. Yeah, I'm close to banning you too because you beat me too much. But you seem like too nice of a person, just be a student, to be banned by someone. What is going on here? All of his stuff is like protected. He's got what? Wow, he missed bishop c3. That was probably a draw. No, now I'm not so sure. Clear pawn down. h2's hanging, but my bishop can get trapped. Not really, though. I should have taken that as well. It's really unclear to me if this is a win or a draw. One pawn up, double bishop endgame. I honestly don't know. No, but now we gotta be winning now. So how are we doing on time? I have time for another game. I mean, honestly, just be a student. Even if your FIDE rating is really 2030, I wouldn't put that in your account. Like, I'm not going to get into a discussion whether you really are 2050 or whatever FIDE. But if it is your real rating, don't put that in your account because it's going to make people like him and others think that you're cheating. If your rating is really that low and you're that good, it's just going to make people suspicious. You know, so I would, if you're serious that your FIDE rating is like 2050, I would take it out of your profile because it just looks like you're cheating with a rating like that. You know, it's very possible you're telling the truth. But I mean, I think that someone looks at your account, they're like FIDE 2050, and then you're like 2600 strength in Blitz. People are going to assume you're cheating, even when you're not. You know, I'm just guessing why someone might ban you. You know, I find it almost impossible to believe, but it is possible. I know some people who are like that. Or if that's just a joke, you know, then it's a joke. But I don't know what your real FIDE rating is. Then, you know, if you get banned, you get banned. If you're joking around, if your real FIDE rating is like 2250 or something, but you put 2000 to be funny, well, if you get banned, you know, that might be why. Today we played 2 games. That happens if I don't get enough players. Let's play something fun. Yeah, we played Nimzovich. Last time you were like, oh, what is this? Once he got angry when he couldn't win in a Smith-Morra. Yeah. Well, I get angry too. If there's even a slight hint that I'm playing a cheater, like I tilted on Sunday last week because I'm tired of 19 games in a row against the same guy where I can't win. I looked at the game in retrospect, and honestly, that player didn't look like they were cheating in that game. But again, I think like really skillful people can avoid getting detected. But you'd have to like literally purposely sit there with the engine and be like playing the 4th best move and never blundering, you know. Boyd 19 games in a row without losing to me in a simul. He probably had some lost positions in there. But yesterday or Sunday, I was on tilt. I was like, I can't believe it. 19 games I haven't been able to beat this guy. Are you kidding me? He's like 2,100 max Blitz rating on lichess. Now, I should be able to beat him. How did you get me to transpose into C3 Sicilian? This isn't weird. This is actually a very standard line. What am I going to do? This is like mainline C3 Sicilian. Since when do you play the mainline C3 Sicilian, Reapun? I didn't know you played C3 Sicilian. He knows everything. I had this game with Vita Levente's sister. This is like the main line of this variation, right? I played E6 against Levente too. But knight B6 is main line. I made you play it. No, I didn't. After knight f6, like the main variation is e5, knight d5, knight c3. And you can also play other moves, like knight c3, for example. You chose to play the c3 Sicilian. Nobody made you do it. You have lots of choices. I've played both. I've played e5, knight c3, and I've played knight c3. Knight c3 is too much of a master type move. What? It's like the most logical move on the board. You're just like defending your central pawn with the knight toward the center. So white's supposed to play knight takes e5 here. This is main line of the draw. Actually, Vita Levente gave up playing the c3 Sicilian because of this type of variation. Being too drawish, I think. I had a draw with Sidonia in Romania, actually, years ago. Like 2008 or something. That was the only time I ever played this line. But this is strange. He gives up his bishop and then plays knight takes e5. I mean, it could be a little bit dangerous for me. There's a quick queen f3 attacking f7. What does my shirt say? Got tilt. It's an old full tilt poker t-shirt. It's an antique. It is an antique. I guess. Yeah, I mean the problem is like the Alyakin trick against Casabianca. This here. Antique t-shirts and baseball bats are my specialty. Now what am I going to do? Well, I guess we just do this. sack the queen to castle? Of course. Well, I guess I play bishop d6 here. I almost played f6, but there's a long variation. f6, queen h5 check, g6, knight g6, queen f7, queen a5. Maybe that was actually good for me. Queen f7, queen a5, queen g6, queen a6, queen g2. Castle's queenside. Unclear, actually. What is my idea behind the pawn sack? Anyone? Raise your hand. Pawn sack. Well, you kind of like forced me into it. Quote yourself. What pawn sack? What pawn sack? Pawns are equal here. You're not even taking it. Are you sure there's a pawn sack? Now there's a pawn sack. Ops color bishops is instant compensation. Black has full compensation. You have a weak pawn, and I have total domination on the white squares. There's no question that black has at least almost enough compensation for the pawn. I believe. What's the best move, though? You can't castle either, Kingside, which would be the safest place to go. This is not easy for either side, I think. Why did I accept a second game from him? Can't believe it. Wow. computer level play here. By white, it looks like. Pretty hard to believe, honestly. Yeah, that's not legit. Something fishy in this game. Something fishy going on around here with this player, I would say, clearly. He's basically a master now. Yeah, he's going the right way there, definitely. King f6 is a good move. He's making progress. Thursday. Eric Hansen uses the hackneyed radio station title of Thirsty Thursday. I mean, radio stations were using that title like back in the 80s. Get original. Alright guys, we gotta go. Time to go. Anyway, this is an interesting game. I'm gonna make a queen. Very, very much appreciate the respect here. Alright, thanks everybody for playing. Yeah, bishop b8 instantly. That's a very interesting move from an interesting player. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.